The only thing that we're interested in is putting money in your wallet. If you want to bet the fights, if you want to have a little bit of action, you are in the right place with my partner, Ian Parker. I am Brett Okamoto.
We're ready to rock between our parlays, our props, our straight picks. It's time to make money. Let's go.
From one desert to another, UFC was in Abu Dhabi last weekend. This week it's back in Las Vegas, the home of the UFC headquarters, and it will also be home to the UFC Fight Night over there at the Apex. Number 8 versus number 9 in the heavyweight division, Marcin, Tybura, Sergey, Spivac. Number 2, a rematch of a fight that we've already seen headlining this UFC Fight Night card. Hello, everybody. I am Brett Okamoto. Alongside Ian Parker, we are here to talk about everything from a gambling perspective, as always, on UFC Best Bets. Before we get to this UFC Fight Night, the 6-fight UFC Fight Night main card, Ian, let's talk about how we did over there in Abu Dhabi last Saturday.
You know what? We had a pretty solid night, 4-2 in our best bets. We hit our Parker's parlay. We hit our long shot prop at plus 500. We're knocking off round 2. And I believe we went 1-1 with our other props. Back-to-back very solid weeks. On to, we could call this a fun card in some ways, but hey, there's money to be made, so we're here for it. Let's go.
Always money to be made, and let's go ahead and take a look at this 6-fight main card. You can find it on ESPN and ESPN Plus, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. I already mentioned Marcin, Tybura, Sergey, Spivak. Pretty close odds, pretty competitive fights, so we'll be talking about that 5-rounder, as we always do. Damon Jackson, Chepe Mariscal in the featherweight co-main. 6 fights, all odds, presented to you by ESPN BET, and let's go ahead and jump right into this main event. Marcin Tybura is a small underdog here, plus 140. Sergey Spivak, who has had some pretty good nights out there in the octagon, but has came up short against some of his tougher opponents. He is minus 170. Is that too high, or do you think there's value here on Spivak at minus 170?
I think it's too high here. You know, I think for Spivak, he's become a little bit of a one-trick pony where he tries to wrestle his opponents and dominate from top position once he gets them on the ground or even against the cage. And against Marcin Tybura, I don't think he's going to be able to do that. In their first fight, Tybura won. You know, and we've seen Tybura fight against other grapple-heavy wrestlers when he fought Romanov before Romanov had the really bad fall-off. I believe it was in Salt Lake. Round 1, he pretty much should have been 10-8'd there. He came back. He won the fight on the feet. I believe he's the better striker. I think as this fight goes deeper, being that it's a 5-round fight, which I never understand for heavyweights in a main event if it's a non-title fight, but the further it goes, it favors Tybura. I think he can get it done here. I think the value is in him as the underdog.
All right, so a pretty confident pick, it sounds like, there in Marcin Tybura. Whether or not that's the best bet or it finds its way onto one of our parlays, we will have to wait and see until the end of the show. Let's move on to the co-main event at 145 pounds. Damon Jackson taking on Chepe Mariscal. Mariscal minus 240 here in this featherweight fight. What do you think of this matchup?
Yeah, you know what? I'm a little surprised how wide the odds here. Damon Jackson has fought better level competition, and Mariscal is a grinder. You know, for me, if I were to bet this on the money line, I would go with Jackson. I think value's there. However, if you're going to play this in a little bit of a different way, I would take it where ESPN Bet has it for Jackson to win by sub or Mariscal to win by decision.
All right, from there we go to the welterweight division as Danny Barlow as a big favorite against Nikolai Veretennikov. You like Barlow to get it done via finish here?
I like multiple plays in this fight. My favorite one, though, if we're getting plus odds right there, give me Barlow to win by TKO or KO. His opponent is tough, but Barlow's got hands that send people to the shadow realm. I think this kid's pretty special. Keep an eye on him.
All right, another big favorite here is Chris Gutierrez at bantamweight. He's taking on Kwong Lee. You're just going straight here with a Chris Gutierrez minus 600 bet.
Well, at the time, these odds only had the money line, so I would throw them in a parlay. But if you got to wait for the props here, I would say Gutierrez by decision seems to be one of those plays that always happens when he wins. So look for that prop. Don't play him minus 600 straight. Throw him in a parlay. I think he gets it done here both those ways.
All right, moving right along. Yana Santos taking on Chelsea Chandler, and you like the favorite here, Yana Santos at minus 150.
I do. I don't love the odds. I expect a lot of people to take Chandler, thinking she's going to be able to take Yana down. But Yana's in the best shape of her life. She's going to have a huge advantage on the feet. Chandler's striking is not very good. I think cardio-wise, Yana's much better as well. I think this fight's going to stay in the clinch on the feet. I think Santos is going to grind out a decision win here.
All right, so a pick for Santos by decision there, potentially, if you're looking for a method of victory. How about Kazama versus Gregorio to round out this 6-fight main card?
I think Kazama is going to be the sacrificial lamb here to Gregorio. I think Gregorio not only wins, line's a little high for the money line, take him to win by TKO or KO. Kazama has lost in the first round in the UFC, I think, both times he's fought. Gregorio's got the power, he's got the speed. I think he gets his win here in the UFC.
All right, so that is your main card on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Here are your prelims that you can also find on ESPN and ESPN Plus. 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. Run us through your prelim picks, Ian.
Brett, I might even get you to laugh on this one. Rosa and Pani, the over 2.5 is minus 600 here. When Rosa wins, she only wins by decision, and she's a minus 200 and change favorite. Give me her at decision, minus 135. Carl Williams at minus 210. This might be my favorite play of the night. We've been on a roll here. Yonata Denise, we know is a good KO artist, but he is a negative white belt in jiu-jitsu and in takedown defense. Williams is going to put him on his back, keep him there all night. Zalal by decision. And Luciano, this is a fight they fought on the Contender Series to a draw because she 10-8'd Alencar in the 3rd round. Talita is very good on the ground. Major size differential here. I think Luciano keeps it standing, gets a decision win, but we'll take her on the money line at minus 170.
Quick, efficient, confident picks by Mr. Parker. How about the long shot parlay here in Las Vegas?
Well, this is such a super duper card. I think we just got to get to the point with these picks, right? Let's go Tybura, Jackson, Gregorio by KO or TKO at plus 1223 here. 3 legs. I think this one is very live.
All right, there's your long shot. You can get plus 1200 there about for the long shot parlay. How about Parker's parlay for this week?
We're going to go chalky here. I don't see how any of these guys lose. Barlow, Gutierrez, Gregorio, and Zalal at plus 140. Don't have to go method of victory. Just need to get clean wins. And we go 2 back-to-back weeks if we hit this one with the parlay.
Yep. I mean, as Ian mentioned, we have been getting on a little bit of a hot streak here. Let's keep it going with the UFC Fight Night best bets.
This one was a little trickier, not going to lie to you, because of this card. So, Tybura, Spivac, I saw this line, Brett, it jumped out at me. This fight to end by KO or TKO at minus 110 in a 5-round heavyweight fight, we're going to go there. Jackson to win via sub or Marisol by decision at plus 105. Therefore, you're protected there. Barlow and Veretinakinov at under 2.5 rounds. I think Barlow's going to get a knockout relatively early. That protects us later on. Carl Williams, he's a takedown machine. He is fighting against someone who's got good KOs, no wrestling, no jiu-jitsu. I expect him to win there. And Luciano over Alencar. Alencar mentioned world-renowned in jiu-jitsu, but she's going to have a major reach disadvantage. Her striking is not great, chin high. Luciano, as long as she keeps this fight on the feet, she gets it done, and that's the best bets for the week.
Yes, maybe not the card from top to bottom that will be shaking up the divisions as we sometimes see on these weekends. But as Ian said right from the beginning, there is always money to be made, and that's why you tune in to UFC Best Bets. Hopefully we gave you some good advice, some good picks. Enjoy the fights this weekend. Come right back to us next week. UFC 305, Israel Adesanya looking to come back and reclaim his title against Dricus du Plessis. We'll talk about that one next week. See you then.